So welcome to part 2 of this. I'm grateful that YouTube didn't destroy the video. At least for now, the original live stream is still up. Yeah, it looks like it is. So, okay, reactions. Doing a part 2. Oh my gosh. Hopefully it stays there. Okay. I'm gonna text you because it needs to be verbally said, so I'll just wait. Okay then. Okay, so Jubilee, screw you for copywriting my stream. I was in my first stream. I was in my description. I said support the original. Go watch it. I'm just critiquing this, but guess what? You have to be a big brat about it and copyright people. So we're gonna do it this way. I need to hear how low volume it is. At least you have the subtitles, so that should be okay. But oh my gosh! All right, here we go. Oh. Okay, I think that's pretty low. I think it's pretty low volume. I think that's going to be okay. Okay, so she's saying, do you believe that the reason that we have suffering is because of the fallen man? He's like, no, I don't believe in that. So what I was saying before YouTube rudely cut me off, was pulling up a Bible verse. So nope, that wasn't it. Oh, where was I looking at? Or did I get rid of it because I was looking for a different thing? Yeah. The Trinity. Yeah, nowhere in the Bible does it say that God and the Father are the same. To talk about the Trinity, they definitely don't talk about the Holy Ghost at all. So yeah, all it says in John 10:30 is, "I and my Father are one," and that's KJV/NIV. And the problem is that you could very easily, like, someone could have simply wrote that to mean that they're in the same place, that they're just in heaven. Just in the same way that you will be one with the Father by being one with me. I think Jesus said something like that. No, it's just saying that, like, you're going to be in the same place. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that Jesus is saying that him and the Father are literally the same person, and then also there's this third part of it, that is the Holy Ghost. That's completely made up. That is a church tradition, the Trinity. So that is some bullcrap. Okay, so very good. Moving on. I would say the biggest thing against the idea of the fall of man is because what would falsify it, and in my opinion, this is a hypothesis, is that in order to falsify the idea that fall of man is the reason for why all suffering exists, and at least on Earth, right? Is that you have to take it to something that was created before the fall of man that still had suffering. So, the sun. Oh my gosh, the sun literally gives us cancer from ultraviolet radiation. It had that the whole time. It can't not have that. The sun produces all waves of light. That includes radio waves, microwaves, visible light, X-rays, ultraviolet light, gamma rays. Ultraviolet light is part of that. That gives you cancer. The sun was designed to give you cancer. That was before the fall of man. That falsifies the narrative. The end. Mm-hmm. Yep, that sucks. No. Again, but also you could have just made it where nobody has to eat anything. Why do animals have to eat? Because that's what animals are. This whole thing is the idea of the fallacy of appeal to consequence. I want a God to exist, therefore it exists. And or you could say argument against consequence. I don't want there not to be a heaven, so I'm just going to believe in a heaven. And or I'm not going to believe that there isn't a heaven, right? So that is... what the fuck is this segment? Oh, this is an advertisement thing. Okay, moving on. Yep. Yes. And Yahweh flooding the entire world. They're just showing Samuel on the screen. 1 Samuel 15:3. Yep. 1 Samuel 15:10 to 35. Why the fuck? Why does God regret anything? This is also another cop-out where everything in the Bible that is awful, it's not meant to be literal. It's just an exaggerated tale. And then everything that is good, oh, that literally happened. And again, it presents a problem of unfalsifiability where there's nothing in it that could be bad and at the same time literally happened. And that's how you could compartmentalize that the Bible is good, or it's just telling a tale, but the story is good. And it's not. It's not. There's a lot of things that are church tradition about God, like that, he's all good, he's all loving, and things like that. And it's like the Bible does not say that. There's parts of it that say that. It doesn't apply to all things. There are contradictions there. There's a part where, church tradition is like God is all-knowing, except for the parts where he regrets things because he forgot. Like, no. He said he regretted God making Samuel king. Is that what he said? That's a great example. Very dumb. Very dumb. The fastest way to become an atheist is just read the Bible if you're a Christian. Just read the Bible and look at it with a critical eye and be like, okay, does this read like it was divinely inspired, or does it read like people made it and they didn't know what they're talking about? I was expecting for something that led such a big religion to be a little bit more convincing, and I was significantly disappointed by how unconvincing it is and how blatantly obvious that it was written by people that had no idea what they were talking about. Okay. Why don't they just raise their hand to go up? Where are the subtitles? Okay, I'm going to rewind that a little bit. There you go. Have you touched it first? You could just raise your hand and decide what order to go in. Does it really have to be a race? That's not what. Why would him be breathing mean that Jesus saved him? What about all the people that lived before Jesus? They didn't need him, and Jesus didn't save you because there's still sin, right? So Jesus' sacrifice didn't mean anything because there's still sin. Nothing changed. This is the problem with cults, is that they convince you that you have something wrong with you and that you need to stay in the cult in order to better yourself. You could also just be like a good person outside of the cult. You don't need to be convinced that you are bad and you have to do better. You could just do better. Cult are bad. Yeah, just raise hands, yeah. All right, so now we're really diving into scripture instead of like the animal thing. Yep. Yeah, God commanded genocide in the Bible, but don't feel too bad about it because God isn't real. I don't know where he's going with this. Mm-hmm. I suppose this is more relevant to the actual topic, but man, it's just a lot to sit through. Joshua 18:17. Joshua 8:24. Joshua 25. Are we still arguing whether God is not all good? Like, yes, the Bible it just straight up says that God is the creator of all good and evil. Let's cop out. Again, either it's all literal or it's metaphorical when it's bad. It's literal when it's good. There's no concession of anything that could possibly be bad and not literal, and literal at the same time. And that's what categorizes as unfalsifiable, and you should not believe it for that reason. You could like barely hear this, right? None of these people read the Bible. I don't think they've read the whole thing. I will say I have met people that have read the entire Bible and then came away with it as a stronger believer, like Alan Mueliger. And I think it really definitely depends on whether or not you're trying to be convinced of it. Because somehow Alan, as an atheist, read that whole thing and came out of it a theist. And I'm like, how? Like, it's so stupid. You can kind of hear this, right? Yeah, I can't hear much. That's fine. At least YouTube isn't destroying me right now. I would show the whole thing, YouTube and Jubilee. Would you like me to advertise your show? I would like to, but now I'm not. But here's my reaction. Yep. Okay, so he's just dismissing it because it's bad. He's like, I don't believe that actually happened. I know it's in the Bible, but I don't believe it because it's bad. I believe that literal, like, some literacy action was taking place, so I could dismiss it. It's like it's demonstrating the falsifiability that you're asking for, and then you're like, no, I don't think so. Like, no, you don't just get to dismiss evidence like that. You've now defined it into something that's unfalsifiable, and you shouldn't believe it for that reason. Yep. It is. Ugh, gross. Oh, Jesus Christ. He does. He is. So it's true because it's on a bracelet? God also says he's the creator of all good and evil, so how is creating evil love? I don't think so. Yes. That's not true! That's not true. So my understanding is that basically everyone went to hell before Jesus, and then what Jesus did was like allow some people to go to heaven by believing in him. It's okay because you go to a theme park after you die. He's not. Our God is a just God, not because you just say so. It's definitely not. 10,000 children starve to death every day. What part of that is a just God? It's not. Yeah, I've always wanted to. Oh God, what did I say? You always wanted to. Doctrine of the Covenants, 82:3. Are we equivocating genocide? Go to the theme park after dying, yes. 2 viewers with half a... what does it say? 2 viewers with half a brains in a pit. Wow. Yep. I hate that it has to be like this because of copyright. The last stream got nuked. I don't know what that means. Yeah, but I'm glad that they're commenting. That helps us out. It's 3 viewers now. Also, sin doesn't really matter because, like, regardless of how much sin you have or don't have, if you've never committed a single sin and you don't believe in God, you're still going to hell. So, like, it's not about sin at all. You could be you could have committed no sin and still not go to hell. But Bryce, no one can live in unsinful light, says the Bible. Wrong! What about that baby that was born and then died in 1 second? Oh wait, could have they committed a sin? Nope, they didn't have enough time to. They still go to hell because they didn't believe in Jesus. That falsifies that narrative. Is he actually defending genocide right now because what they're doing is a sin? That's what he was actually doing. What the fuck? Acts of Jesus. That's genocide. Yep. Apparently. Yep. There's insufficient evidence. Okay, so that was all one claim. So yeah, because they're suffering, the God is unlikely. A good God, yeah, but the God of the Bible, nope. The God of the Bible can be true. The God of the Bible says there's both good and evil. I don't think that was a good claim by the atheist, and I think it was also defended very poorly. So I think everybody sucked in the first round. So the next one is Jesus' resurrection is the evidence for it is insufficient. I think that that's putting it very lightly. If you want to go in like the most generous sense, sure, but like scientifically, historically, no. I am sorry. The subtitles turned off again after the ad break. Let's fix that. Here we go. There's insufficient evidence to believe in the resurrection. I would love to see any data there is not. No. No. Then why did they all write 3 different endings for how Jesus died? I would love to answer, but here's a question. Matthew 27, 52 to 53. Like Thriller. All right, so this is important to say here. When it comes to historicity, what is counted and what isn't, to my understanding, anything that seems to have a bias is basically pretty much automatically thrown out. Something would have to be written about an event that doesn't have any bias in it. So, potentially, first of all, we're not even sure that there was even a Jesus in the first place. When it comes to Jesus, what we have is vague mentions of someone that could potentially be something like Jesus, or they could be talking about somebody else entirely. all that is a mention extrapolated from that is that there was probably some first century faith healer that pissed off a lot of people, and they got crucified, and that's all we know. Not the resurrection. We have absolutely no anything that's outside of anything that's bias to corroborate anything that involved the resurrection. Anything that did was already part of the Bible or was written after the Bible. No. Birth narrative, also, Jesus was born in 2 different places according to 2 different gospels. I think he's already talking about it. Why is it always like this where the copyright's like, react to this, okay, copyright. Yep. That's weird. Why would you want zombies? I don't understand. Like yes, the Jesus brought the zombies. Why do you want that? Why do you want that? Not saying that they're necessarily infectious, right? But it's like, why? There was no eyewitness testimony that was written. It was a claim written by a person saying that there was eyewitness testimony. That's not eyewitness testimony. That's not how it works. And if that's strong enough to convince you, there's all the other religions say there's plenty of other eyewitness testimonies, and some have millions more eyewitness testimony. You should believe those, because those ones have stories about even more people have eyewitness testimony of their Savior. No, you shouldn't believe it because that's not sufficient evidence. Why does Jesus even need to be circumcised if he's God? When Jesus ascends to heaven, what happens to his foreskin? It's part of him. If you cut off a part of Jesus, is it no longer holy? And so his foreskin is just on earth somewhere? Or no, it's still holy. So you're saying when Jesus died, him and his foreskin somewhere else both ascended to heaven at the same time. You're just seeing a random foreskin somewhere just ascend. Okay. Okay. It becomes more and more stupid the more you think about it. Because, like, how the fuck would sacrificing yourself save anybody? Why would you need to sacrifice yourself to yourself to do that? Again, it makes more sense without the Trinity. Because then Jesus wouldn't be sacrificing himself to himself, because himself is also Yahweh. And that doesn't make any sense. Nowhere in the Trinity is it, or even in that passage it is a stretch to call it a Trinity. Nowhere in there even implies a Holy Spirit. So the whole Trinity thing is entirely made up from church tradition, and the reason why I am convinced that they made it up is because Jesus contradicts the first commandment in the Ten Commandments, that there are to be no other gods before me. And Jesus says the only way to God is through me. So that contradicts the first commandment. So, so in order to get around that contradiction, you say, oh, well, it's not that you to go through Jesus to get to Yahweh. It's that Jesus and Yahweh are the same. Okay. It doesn't say that, though. Oh my God. Regardless of whatever it says, none of it is physically possible. Like, just read the Bible and, like, think about, like, how much sense this makes, and it does not. Take a sip of a drink every time they say eyewitness testimony. Oh, there we go. It's true. Thanks. No. Because it was divinely inspired. The second law of logic says if there is a contradiction, it's fucking not true. Either one is right and one is wrong, or they are both wrong, but they are not both right. And so it's literally anti-logic to say, but if like one thing contradicts another, wouldn't we expect that to happen if it's real? No, that's what you expect to happen when it's a fucking lie. It's like whenever your friends tell you something happened and you talk to another friend who was also there and the stories don't match, guess what? You know that one or both of them are fucking lying. That's not, you don't think that they're both right. That's logically impossible. No. As opposed, just to give you some perspective, as opposed to science, where it's the same every single fucking time. Every single time, without exception. That's when you know things line up, things make more sense. If you're only looking and filling your brain with made up bullshit like this, then of course then you think that like the highest degree of evidence is just somebody writing something down. Like, no, absolutely not. Yeah, I don't. I believe whoever wrote scripture in the Bible, they believed it. And here's the thing: someone doesn't have to be a liar in the sense of like they knew it was false and they wrote it down. You could simply be a liar by not knowing something, whether or not it's true, but then proclaiming it is true. That is also lying. And so, the same degree is held in science. So if you don't know whether or not something is true, but you're saying it is true, that is still lying, and that's what the Bible is. So they heard from a person who heard from a person who heard from a person. At one time, someone made it up, but as we learned from elementary school kids, the game of telephone very quickly goes into a story that's fucking crazy. What we know at the time is that history and mythology were not two separate things. They were very much the same thing. And people embellish stories all the time in one way or another to kind of keep the stories more interesting. A lot of people would still learn a lesson and then embellish the things that happen so that maybe not on purpose. There might be somebody that said the account exactly as it happened. But that was less interesting than the person who heard that story and then embellished it. And the embellished story was more foretold, and more people heard it because it was more interesting. So it may not be simply like they did it on purpose. A story could be embellished and left over due to just natural selection because the regular story was not interesting, but the more embellished story was more interesting. And so people heard the more embellished story, and it just kept getting more and more embellished over time. We know that this is true with the global flood of Noah's Ark. The further you go back in documents that we hear about a flood, it becomes less big, it becomes not global, it becomes more localized. And at the time where we find it, we find where it was localized, and that was in Idaho. And it was a flood that there was a big area of water that was nearby a town, and the barrier broke, and then the water flooded the town. And we have evidence for that event happening at the time it was supposed to have happened. And then we also have evidence of people writing that down, and then that being spread down to multiple generations across time and different places. And eventually the story got bigger and bigger and embellished, where it just became the whole world. Yep. Dying for a belief doesn't make the belief true, because if that were true, then literally all religions would be true, and they are not, because everyone has died. Every religion has had people die for it. Doesn't make it true. The people that did kamikazes, everything they believe is true because they did a kamikaze for it. Nope, it's not how it works. Matthew 28, 12 through 13. I don't know about that one. I would have to ask Lawrence Yufa from the Behold Network about that. Next time he's on the line, maybe. Yeah, yeah. Yes, not the word proof, but to be convinced, yeah. I think that Jesus is more likely to exist than to have not, but I'm still not entirely convinced, because that's what the evidence shows. There's no convincing evidence that's like for sure. Then why do 10,000 children starve to death every day? How is Jesus healing all of those kids? And he's not doing that. It's not evidence. You're making that up. She's the worst one so far. This girl's like nodding to this, like, yeah, no, that's fucking bullshit. You're making that shit up. You're just preaching. It's not evidence. I've already discussed what counts as evidence. It has to be outside of any bias. Ew, I hate her. It's proof. It's not. Proof only exists within mathematics and logic. Anecdotal evidence doesn't count. A dude writing down that people saw a thing doesn't mean that those people even existed or saw that thing. It's not. Oh my god, you're just preaching. You're making shit up right now. She's the worst. She is too far gone. She will probably never ever see logic. She also, if you're watching this with me, she also looks high as fuck right now. No, I'm quoting her. Yes. Thanks for not nuking this video yet, YouTube. And Jubilee. Fuck you, Jubilee. Alright, time is up. Moving on. That's true. Nowhere in the Bible does Jesus ever claim that. Give me a Bible quote, I will look it up. Maybe I'm wrong. Does Jesus say he's God? I don't think so. What a weird claim for the atheist to make. It's not, oh my god, it's not atheism versus Christianity. It's atheist versus any theist. Literally anyone that believes any kind of God whatsoever. I'm not saying that's the topic of this episode. I know this episode is specifically Christianity, but it's like this is not like either atheism or Christianity. No. There's so many other crazy ass beliefs. I'd like to vote her off the Highland. She does. Oh yeah, she looks high. Yeah. No, not that Jesus is God. That Jesus claimed to be God. That is the claim. What would I need? The Bible saying that he said that. If you find me that quote, I will say this is incorrect. Where he says Jesus never claimed to be God, I will say it's incorrect. Tell me where he says it. Yep. Yep. The whole thing. Philippines 2, 5 through 7. Him claiming it. Yeah. Where? Before Abraham, I am? I don't think that is sufficient. Source says John 8, 8:58, and then Exodus 3:14. I like that Exodus had pi. Okay. Okay, so let's see. It was John 8:58. John 8:58. It's a commercial break. Jesus declares, "Very truly I tell you, before Abraham was born, I am." That I could agree that you could interpret that to mean that Jesus is a God. The God, like Yahweh, no. So yeah, I'll say that means that Jesus is at least divine. And then the other one was Exodus 3:14. Exodus 3:14. Verse for God. I am who I am. Hold on. I am who I am, instructing him to tell Israelites, I am has sent me to you. I do not think that is sufficient. John? Sure. I can say that is more likely to imply that he is a God. But Jesus always is talking about somebody else when referring to God the Father. So I'm convinced the Bible is about Yahweh, who's God, God is the Son, who's Jesus. They are separate, they know different things, they think differently. You could also tell by their fucking personalities. Yahweh likes to just murder everybody, and Jesus is like, let's do less of that. Like, how would that be the fucking same person? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Never mind. That's what they just said. No. Don't look it up. That's what they just said. Oh, never mind. Okay. So I would say the atheist here, Alex. I would say his thing is. I would say if you're saying a God, it's wrong. Jesus never claimed to be God is the claim. If it says Jesus never claimed to be a God, that's wrong. I would argue that John is sufficient in saying that Jesus claimed to be a God. Not like outright. Okay. Jesus never literally says that. That's for sure. But in John, it definitely implies that Jesus was saying that he is some kind of entity that surpasses time. For sure. For sure. And if that's a God, sure. But he's saying that Jesus never claimed to be God. And if that means Yahweh, that is correct. Jesus never, ever, ever claims to be Yahweh. But the claim is that he said he is God, right? Yep. But he never... Again, if we're saying God is Yahweh, Jesus never, ever claims to be Yahweh. He's always talking about someone else, to someone else, praise to somebody else. Jesus prays. Why the fuck would Jesus need to pray if he is talking to himself? For sure, Jesus is not Yahweh. This is a weird talking point. Why does this matter? Okay, because it's about Christianity, right? I guess this is right. This is like Christianity versus anti-Christianity or not Christianity, which I guess. I mean, you don't even need to be an atheist. You can just believe any other religion, and you could have this talk. It's not. It doesn't need to be an atheist. It could just be like God doesn't fucking exist, dude. Eat Dominoes and peach rings with me? Yes. When was crucifixion started? I want to see if she's full of shit. 519 BCE. Why does this woman look like a Trumper? Because she probably is. Psalms 22, 1 through 3. To the T. That's a good pun. What? How do you know when that was written? I disagree. Absolutely not. Jesus is nowhere in the Old Testament. I believe the entire Bible points to Jesus. And the atheist is like, I agree. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I cannot believe he agreed with that. Cool. Nice preaching. Yeah. I'm watching with you, by the way. Debate Adam Seeker. Oh God, I don't want to do that. And that's Adam. It's Adam O'Connor. Adam Seeker. I don't know who that is. It's like musical chairs, but with Christians. That was a lot of preaching. That was a lot of nothing. I don't know. I don't think debates are entirely productive. I think I like conversations more, but if you want to call that a debate, I guess. But I don't know. I had a conversation with R and Ra. Or no, I had a debate with R and Ra. It was a conversation. Adam Seeker is an ex-Muslim. Cool. I have no fucking idea what I would debate with him about. I would probably agree with everything you said. There would be nothing to debate. Debate with Adam Seeker on what? Adam Seeker have also YouTube channel. What does he believe that I disagree with? Because I'm atheist. Sharing Islamic scriptures. Okay, well, hey, technically correct is the best kind of correct. So, yeah, Alex O'Connor is proclaiming like, yeah, he definitely like is like some magical being, not. So he's saying he should have clarified in this statement. Jesus never claimed to be God. He should have said never claimed to be Yahweh. Yeah. Here's his channel if you want to check it out, I guess. Okay. Adam Seeker. Truth and light. Oh, is he Christian? Oh, so you're saying that he's ex-Muslim, but he became Christian. Is that what you're saying? That's interesting, actually. Adam Seeker believe in Jesus. That is what you're saying. Okay, interesting, cool. As long as everyone is open to changing their mind, sure, I'd like to have a conversation. But if he's like, absolutely not, I will not change my mind, well then he's just delusional by definition. Daniel 7:13 through 14 is what's on screen right now. none of this, like, none of this so far, are any reasons why I am convinced that God does not exist. I already shared why. Because it's fucking physically impossible. And there's no evidence of it, and there's no room for it to exist, even if there was. Mark 14, 61 through 62. I feel like that was a punctuation. They put quotes instead of a colon. Yeah, he believes in Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll have a conversation with him. 420. Oh, you can't see it on my screen. The flag is 4/20. It's not sufficient. Cool. Okay then. So I'm not entirely sure what that said, but he's choosing who he wants to talk to at the end. Ad break. 4 out of 20. Yes. Yay, we might actually finish this. We might not actually get nuked. Oh my god, I cannot believe it's already this late. All these videos, it's always like whatever video that is about like Christianity or just any theism, they're always so long to the point where it like numbs your mind. It's kind of like a torture technique, and then like you're kind of willing to like accept anything just to like get it over with. So yeah, I feel like that might be a reason why all of the Christian videos are like so fucking long. It shouldn't take that long to just be like, here's the evidence of Jesus, here you go. It's always like, oh, you gotta feel like, yeah, but Jesus, you know, he's everywhere. And it's like, oh my god. Okay. So this is who he chooses. Yes. He'll choose to debate someone for 10 minutes. Sweet. You are. Yeah, tuned out, to be honest. By the way, just so you guys can keep up, we're at 122.07. You can watch it yourself. You're Mormon? Why is there a Mormon in here? The last person you picked is a Mormon. I have it on mute, but I'm watching. Okay. So the claim is Mormonism provides a conception of God that is more rationally defensible than any other Christian sect. No. By definition, Mormonism believes all the Bible, which is bullshit, and they have a third book, Old Testament, New Testament, third book, the Book of Mormon. And if you want to count the Pearl Great Price, another one, and then there's like another one after that. Everything extra that you add to the bullshit is still more bullshit. So by definition, no, it is more indefensible than any other Christian sect. If you could even call Mormons Christian. You believe you're gonna get a fucking planet when you die, dude. So it's one atheist versus 24 Christians and a Mormon. I don't get the point of this entire video. It's always worse than I expected. The law of logic is what he's saying. Yeah. Right. Why must it be freely chosen? Also, it's not freely chosen. My friend Joey Love was Catholic, and it came to his realization that if God knows the future, by definition, there is no free choice. He already knows what you're going to choose. He already predetermined that when you were born, when he made you, or when he set the universe in motion. There is no free will. It's logically impossible. And that is what caused Joey Love to realize that God is impossible. Logically impossible. And that broke him out of Catholicism a year ago. And he since then he was like, I'm gonna investigate this more, but I'm pretty sure that this version of God is not possible. It is impossible. And finally a year later he's like, yeah, I'm now convinced that God is not real. So I'm glad he finally got out of that. Like, are they trying to convince Alex? I think they are. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yes, they do. Okay, there you go. Humans suffer differently than all the other animals, even though we're animals? Okay. Based on nothing? Just... Oh my god. No. No. I've read the Book of Mormon. It does not. It is way worse. the Bible reads like the people that wrote it believed in it. The Book of Mormon reads like someone is trying to trick you. Read it yourself, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But also read the Bible so you know what to compare it to. Read the Bible first, then read the Book of Mormon, and then you're going to laugh really hard at the Book of Mormon. You're going to be like, what the fuck is this shit? Man, this went on for so long. I only want to read it with audio. Have R and Raw read it to you. It's really funny. And for Book of Mormon, it's R and Raw, and then sometimes Jimmy Snow, which is great. And for all the ones that don't have any rewards and they just die, nope. That's valid. It's a valid point. Yeah. Wow. So he is saying we all should just die. There's even people that I know that call themselves Christian that don't believe in Jesus. And I'm like, then what the fuck does Christianity even mean? What is that? What the fuck? Like, they believe in Yahweh. They believe in the Old Testament, but they don't believe in the New Testament. Which is more like a... what's it called? Jehovah's Witness? Something like that. Well, you're kind of a Jehovah's Witness. And they're like, nah, I'm a Christian. Like, but you don't believe in Jesus? Like, fuck no. Like, then what the fuck? Then what the fuck is Christianity then? That's true. There's a lot of atheists that are in the angry atheist phase. And, oh my god, there's Charlie Kirk shit. That was it, right? I sure hope that was it. Cool. Well, YouTube didn't nuke me this time, so that's good. All right. So thoughts. That was less interesting than I thought it would be. To my friend who asked me to watch this, you would find any call on the line more interesting. The Line is the name of a YouTube channel where theists, not just Christians, all theists, but mostly Christians, call in to talk to scientists and other atheists, but I typically recommend the scientist ones. Can I show it on the screen? Wait. Wait. No. Oh, that's right, because it's at the bottom. No, I guess not. Oh well. Anyways, there's Sarah. Okay. Yeah. Watch any of the Line shows. They talk about a lot more of a variety. This entire show, almost all of it, except for some parts in the middle where they actually talked about what was in the Bible, was almost all a good God can't be real because suffering exists. That was the whole thing. And it's yeah, duh. And also, you didn't read he didn't even mention where the Bible straight up says, where Yahweh says, I create all the good and all the evil, in different paraphrased ways, but that's what he says. He just straight up says it. The end. Why do we have to go through all of that for that? There's a lot better reasons to not be theist than that reason. The biggest reason is that there's no evidence for it. And not having a reason to believe something is a reason to not believe it. Especially when you have evidence against. That's a big reason to believe that not only that you shouldn't believe it, but that you should believe that it is false. So, Sarah is in the angry atheist phase. Yes. 100%. And then there's the link to the Line. Yep. Call the Line. If you're theist, you can talk to biblical scholars and scientists on the Line, and they will give you totally unbiased thoughts on what you have to say. And they will give you, we can talk to the biblical scholars, particularly Lawrence Yufa from the Behold Network. Oh my gosh, he's the most knowledgeable. You could basically mention any part of the Bible and be like, where does this come from? How do we know what this says? How do we know what is meant by it? And he can read the original Hebrew. No, excuse me, not the original Hebrew. I'm sorry, the original Greek in the New Testament. And he has a lot of friends that have read the original Hebrew, so I think for the most part he has memorized a lot of it. I believe he has his master's in this. He can give you a lot more contextual information, which I think is great. So that's the Line. But when it comes to scientists, call when Aaron Adair is on, call when Aaron Ra is on, call when Forrest Valkai is on, call when Erica from Gutsick Gibbon is on, or Professor Dave from Professor Dave Explains. They are all great scientists. Otherwise, if you just want to talk to any other atheist, they're on there. Just warning: if you're calling while Matt Dillahunty's on there, he's going to be mean to you, probably. Just a warning. So unless you're incredibly patient and respectful, but even then he might blow a gasket because he almost always does. Sarah asked Lawrence what is real and what isn't in the Bible, and she did, and Lawrence gave a great answer. Dave hasn't been on recently. Professor Dave is he's pretty busy. I think he has the biggest channel of everybody. Matt has been chill lately. Well, that's nice. I'm glad that Matt is more chill. I hope that he's getting help. So, anyways, you wanted my reaction to that video. That was the reaction. Not because the atheist chose those questions. Not great questions. All the questions were really about the Christianity and not just about like why he doesn't believe at all. But to his credit, to Alex's credit, maybe that's what Jubilee was asking for. Maybe Jubilee was like, hey, make sure you tailor all your questions to specifically Christianity. And then they fucked up and brought a Mormon on. Like, oh my god. Do one with Mormons. That would be way more fun. I'm sure they probably did. I don't want to watch any more Jubilee. Please don't recommend me any more Jubilee. I mean, Matt showed up on Takis in a skirt. So, yay. Cool. Anyways, that's the show. Hopefully YouTube doesn't nuke the first part of this. They didn't. Well, I guess they kind of ended the stream, but they stopped the stream from being broadcast. But at least for now, the video portion is still up. Hopefully that stays there. So go watch it now if you haven't seen the first part. But this is the second part. I've done this for long enough. I'm sick of these reactions being hours long. So we're going to call it there. Yeah, please. Can't handle this. Yeah. All right. So anyways, that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you very much. And until next time.